French.
So each bunch of grapes is a grape.
Yeah, yeah.
So 43 says, so that would be called a grape cluster in English.
Oh, what's this?
Wait, no, Libby, no, not again, no!
No, that was actually terrifying.
That was brilliant.
I think I just wet myself a bit. Hello and welcome to Roaming the Rhone. Now the Côte de Rhone is 2,000 years old. That's a lot of legacy to preserve, but they also encourage a new legacy, new winemakers in the region with a blend of tradition and innovation. We're here at Le Plomb with Seb and Anne to talk about it. This is such a cool winery, and we're surrounded by some very excellent stylistic merchandise and packaging. So I feel that this definitely has a bit of a story to it. It's very different. Please tell us about your winery.
Well, the story goes back actually quite a little time ago. My father, who was a racing car driver in the 70s and the 80s, then he had some businesses in Belgium, in Antwerp, where I am originally from. And then in 2000, he had this great idea to move to the south and to start a winery from scratch. And when we saw all the great estates, but old estates, and with lots of history and classical labels, and we were like, oh, we will never make it if we try to copy, because it's never good to copy people. And then we were like, let's get inspired by his history, so racing. And then we started making these cool labels with checkered flags, and then the first ever car named wine was the GTS. Mm-hmm. So it's not Grand Turismo Sport, it's Grand Terroir Syrah. And from there we started like inventing new wines and new names, and then we're here now. So we in 20 years we went from one wine to some.
I mean, it's absolutely incredible. And you're now making wine with your husband, is that right? So starting a whole new legacy, really.
Actually, my father, who had the idea, he sent me to the winemaking school in Orange to really learn the trade to make wine, and then I met my future husband there also. Mm-hmm. And we started this journey. Actually, we started it together. My father with all the ideas, and he's really the marketing, the creative mind behind the story. But then my husband, he works the vineyards. He's a good worker, and he has lots of knowledge about the grounds and those kind of things. And then I definitely make the wine also, and I do everything that is logistics, bottling, transport issues. So we really make a great team. Everyone really has his pillar in the company, and together, combined, I think that's why we made it this far in this short time, because everyone really has the drive that he needs to get here.
And are you responsible for these labels? Who comes up with the great designs?
I designed them on Photoshop, but the original ideas almost always come from my dad. He's like, I had this vision, can you make it?
I saw it in the middle of the night.
Actually, he wakes up in the middle of the night and he marks
sketches.
Everything.
And you're always looking to be innovative with it and change these labels and change the designs.
Yes. Actually, if you come back in 5 years, there will always be checkered flags, but the design will be different. We really like to keep moving things. We don't like to stay fixed.
I think that's been a big change, certainly when you look at the market that I'm in, the UK market. Certain countries you accept modern labelling from. A place like France, there's a reverence of the history, of the background, the classic label design, and I love the fact that label is speaking directly to me.
So let's start with our RS Rosé. It's a Côte de Rhone wine. It's a blend from Grenache, Syrah and Senso.
Great colour.
Does it just have more skin contact, or in terms
A little bit of
more-
skin contact on the Syrahs. Yes.
Santé.
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 These Rhone rosés have more freshness, more acidity.
And they've got a really nice structure to them.
Yeah.
They all do have a really nice base to it.
You don't need white when you got rosé that fresh, and it's lovely and delightful, lovely texture.
It has some freshness in the mouth, but it also has this southern feeling with
has
a
a
little bit
mouthfeel,
of
of course.
full.
Roundness.
So yeah, you can easily drink it.
And it actually reminds me of where you're from, Andrew. It's got that sense of like the Varrois, it's a little bit more minerality, high altitude. It's lovely.
Yes. We started last year with this rock festival because end of COVID was a little bit of complicated, and my husband, who is a musician, he was like, "Oh, I have no gigs this summer. I'm so down," and I was like,
In a Metallica tribute band, there.
"Yeah." And then also because we are quite new, still new and modern estate, and we do export for like 95%. We're not that well known in the region because you saw maybe arriving here, we have a little sign, but there's not dégustation vente. It's not really, we're not out there for people to come.
But you will be soon.
Yes. So it was like, oh, we'll do this for the people from Suze-la-Rousse and Tulette and our neighbors to come and enjoy our wines in this cool place.
You could, 5 people come out of the car, and there could be a teenager, a little child, there could be a man. Everyone has something to do here, and I just think I love the combination, the balance of tourism, welcome, music, story, beer, gin, wine. I mean, it doesn't feel like you're over delivering. It's just like, oh, this is the this is the only place we need to hang out.
And you've had some success as well with the.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Oh yeah, no, it sits on the way. What does this say?
For
This is
the best in
certified.
show medal, 97
Best in
points.
show decanter. 97, that's a platinum.
Yeah.
That's quite a feat. I know that that category would have had 100, 200 wines in it. So.
It was quite a surprise for us too, because we know when you make good wines, you know it, and when you have metal potential, you know it also.
Yeah.
But it's always a surprise.
So where did your father's passion for wine come from? Was it through some success and driving?
I think I can easily say my father has passion. Period. He was passionate about racing car driving. He was passionate when he had his car dealership of Lancia and Maserati. He's passionate when he goes on a bike tour, and he's always 100% in. His nickname in racing was Monsieur 100%, Mr. 100%. He doesn't go for less.
They have no waste on that place at all.
So is this the Decanter
Yes.
Award winner Best in Show,
Yes.
which is the highest accolade
It is.
you can get?
It's Blanc de Dieu, Syrah, Grenache and Mourvèdre.
Is it mostly so? I mean,
It
it's
is-
really got a really deep
It is
intensity.
Syrah, Mourvèdre and a little bit of Grenache.
This is absolutely stunning. I mean, your wines have just been phenomenal, and this is the coolest place I think we've been. So, is there any way we can take a bit of a look around?
Of course. I was waiting for that.
Cheers.
I'll finish this.
All right, we'll just leave Joe here.
So we're here in your studio, and you're going to show us a different style of blending. Are you ready?
do it.
Let's go.
Whoa, this blend is never gonna work. We are now actually in this lovely, chilled, cool bower room with Valerie and Clémence, and I just want to know more about your cooperative winery. That's correct. So please do tell us a bit more about that.
Yes, we are very happy to have you here today. Rhone, it's, as you said, a cooperative winery, which means that we are gathering almost 400 families of wine growers in our territory here in the Vaucluse department. And we have vineyards on almost 3,000 hectares. And 2/3 of these hectares are in Cru and Côte-du-Rhône village, which is for Rhone a big amount of grapes. And we are one of the biggest producers of Cru and Côte-du-Rhône village in the Rhone Valley.
Wow, that's incredible. And I think there's a lot of, in the Côte d'Or, as I understand it, working with so many other winemakers, there's a big push for sort of encouraging legacy and encouraging young winemakers and encouraging sort of people to come into it. Have you found that? Is that something that you do when you're building your community?
Yes, it's very important because we are gathering many families on Visan, Rasteau, Baume de Venise and Vaqueras. And these people have inherited from their land, and one thing which is very, very important for them is to pass it on to their children. So it's very important for all of us to work hard to promote our appellations and sell them around the world and make our wine growers stay on their land and be proud of what they are doing every day.
Wonderful, amazing. And are you looking at ways, when you're talking about being proud and preserving the land and things, are you sort of looking at sustainability and things like that?
Yes, and that's why we are certified sustainable wine growing, which is vigneron engagé in French. And it's a very important certification for us because we are not only talking about environment, we are also talking about all the impacts we have on our communities, on the employees, on the suppliers, the wine growers, of course, but also on the people who live in the villages here. So we are a very important stone, I would say, of the living of the community here. All our wine growers are together with us in this direction. It's not the employees on one side and the wine growers on the other side. We are all working to make the best wine possible and while preserving our environment.
I mean, cooperating. I guess that's where the name cooperation. No, I mean that's the beautiful thing about it.
I think it's lovely that you're producing such extraordinarily good white wine, such fresh white wine in this region, because Côte d'Or has always had a very strong relationship with the English market, but the way the English market works at the moment, we don't have quite the same the habitude of gastronomy that you have in France. So there's often the need for a white wine as a gateway into drinking wines. And I think these wines are absolutely fantastic. And I really think we should create much more of them. They're delicious.
Can you tell us a bit about this white wine?
Yeah.
What the assemblage and...
So you have a blend of Grenache, Viognier and Clairette.
Yeah, lovely.
Okay.
Old school.
So it's 300 meters, so you can feel the freshness and you still see the Mediterranean vegetation. So that's the beauty also of this Côte-du-Rhône village Visan.
It has a lovely herbaceous overtone. There's kind of like that kind of, it's not a full garrigue, but it's kind of, there's lavender, there's a little bit of sage. It's got a lovely thing.
Not just really, fruit, there's that.
You can feel the sun as well as the wind. Clairette is one of my favourite varieties in the world. I think this is one of the only places in the world you find it. And when I talk to people about wine, we always talk about smell and taste, but never about mouthfeel and texture. This wine has a silkiness.
It's a part of our work also as a cooperative. When we have wine growers with specific terroir or specific specific things on their lands, and we vinify their estates. Yes. And it's not like the Côte-du-Rhône village Visan, which is under the Rhônea name. Here we have specifically the Domaine des Caps because we thought it was we had the quality to make a special estate wine.
Amazing. That's incredible.
So this is a way of promoting the work of the wine grower too.
For the moment, we have 400 hectares in organic, and we do in this way, and we have also biodynamic now wines. So it's really one of our value because we would like to preserve the environment. So it's just the things to do.
And you were talking about the younger generation, which are coming, and they are even more committed to that.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us and telling us more about your cooperative. It sounds absolutely incredible. Guys, I think we should probably go sit somewhere and talk about wine some more.
Why not?
Yeah, let's do that.
Cheers.
So talk about
And drink it. Well, that was a super cool day. I mean, that was
Certainly was.
awesome. Apart from when you went a little bit rugby crazy. That was scary.
The lights
A
went
little
on.
bit carried away.
It's still there somewhere, my
Yeah.
word. You went from naught to mental in about 10 nanoseconds.
Again, no camera person was harmed in the making of this episode.
And then thereafter, calm Irish folk guitar strumming. And me with my very clever and deft and quiet jazz.
Your delicate drumming.
That was so
Yes.
much fun, wasn't it? That was so much fun.
You had a great setup there, to be fair.
What a day. And their
Absolutely
wines.
cool. Their wines were good. Definitely, that's the kind of wine I'm going to take home with me. They're absolutely gorgeous. Super
Agree.
cool couple. Amazing winery. Like, absolutely
Just fantastic.
phenomenal
Just
wines.
fantastic. And then by contrast, we were going from modern, sort of holistically, branding everything they do, kind of like a place where a family can go and spend the day doing all sorts of things and music and everything else, to some very clever ladies that have pulled a cooperative up by its bootstraps and are making absolutely stunning wine. I mean, almost all the wines they sell are available in the UK, which is a good sign, right?
Yeah, and I love what they were saying about, actually I know it's an obvious thing, the name cooperative, but the cooperation involved in that and all the different people coming together and making this happen. It's a really beautiful thing. And in their own ways, very different ways, they really are, continuing the legacy of the Côte de Rhone
Really well,
and
really
new
well.
winemakers. It's absolutely gorgeous. So
And a great facility. So we've got one
Amazing.
each here.
Oh.
I think starting with you, Andrew, you've got the Demi Cap Côte du Rhone. What do you think? What do you think? I think this was the first one, red, we tried. We've all got different ones here.
I'm still drinking mine.
Yeah, I'm still drinking mine too. They're too delicious.
Really, just very easy to drink, but it's got a spiciness again to it. A lot of these wines are showing that sort of peppery sort of veg and with a little bit of garrigue as well.
Yeah,
So keen to talk about, weren't they?
Well, absolutely, Gary. You had all that sort of fragrant herbs. I mean, this is a Côte du Rhone from a co-op. So you're looking at, 2 for a tenner almost, right? Really, in English terms. This is the wine you buy in boxes and boxes and take home, so when the boys come around, you've all got something to drink. I mean, the standard is astonishing.
Yeah.
And so the one I got was the next one, which was the Légende des Tocs, or the legend of the chef's hat. And they actually get chefs in to finish off the blend, which I thought was a really brilliant move. It credits them and it gets people that the public are already invested in to make it a gateway into drinking good wine. And this has this juicy, velvety, supple flavour, which just goes with all sorts of food. I can't think of anything it wouldn't go with.
No, and mine is also absolutely tasty. I believe it's actually from Waitrose, or it's stocked in Waitrose, this one, but
And you are the
really
queen.
smooth, silky, bit of that peppery spice. It's been an awesome day, guys. Thank you so much for a wonderful trip at the Rhone.
Cheers.
It was so good, so good.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oh, I wish I could do it all over again.